Hi, everybody. Welcome back to that Eurovision site. And as you can see, we are still continuing on looking through the entries and artists that have been selected for Eurovision 2026. And in this video, I am joined by my lovely friend James, and we are going to talk about the United Kingdom selection for Eurovision 2026. A big sigh because the UK is always much of a contention, but they're being represented by Luc Mumno Computer with Eins Zwei Drei. And without further ado, let's get on with the discussion. The UK have gone on their internal selection, as always, and we ended up with Look Mum No Computer, Sam Battle, who is, I think their bio describes them as an English musician, YouTuber, electronics enthusiast, and a composer who posts videos about making pro audio gear and synthesizers. That's an introduction. Um, James, I think when we announced our entry, I think you were one of the ones that were just like very curious about this. Can I just take what's your take on our
Yeah, I mean, look,
selection?
when the UK announces an entry, I feel like I'm always the cynical one because I've seen enough Eurovisions to know what usually happens. But when I heard who it was and then actually started diving into what Sam was about and his backstory and what he did, immediately I started to think, do you know what? There actually might be something here because this is someone who has a very clear artistic identity from the off. I completely get what his story is. I completely get what he's trying to do, even if maybe musically his song is not going to be for a certain crowd and it will work for others. It's not going to be the consensus thing that wins Eurovision, don't get me wrong. But I have more optimism about this than I have for the UK for some time, even if it is cautious.
Really? Like I think that's a first. I think I've done enough videos with you to be just like
What, that I'm
you're
saying something positive?
yeah, no, I'm a bit flabbergasted about that, really, if I'm being honest with you. I was just like, yeah, no, because I remember when we actually did this last year. Remember Monday?
Yeah, for
You
Remember
were,
Monday.
yeah, and you were just like, you weren't really a fan of it, but now all of a sudden it's like, okay, that's a bit of a statement though. But in what, I would ask, like, in what way are you like cautiously, other than the artistic,
Yeah,
identity, what would you say would be like, the reason why you think that you kind of like I don't know, like a change of perception with our entry this year?
I've two reasons, I think. And I've been really, really critical of our selection for missing these
Hmm.
two things. And I think we've got them right this year. The most important thing about any Eurovision entry is that it's got to feel authentic. I have no concerns about this being authentic. It is that song is very
Hmm.
clearly Look Mum No Computer's song, and I don't think it could be anyone else's. So that is a great start. It means that when we go into the voting, people will remember who the song is. And then, sort of linked to that, the second reason is that this song is very obviously British. And I don't think we have done that often enough. Because honestly, Remember Monday song, that could have been from a few countries. Dizzy could have been from Sweden. I Wrote
Hmm.
a Song could have been from several countries. Spaceman felt British. It kind of had that
Yeah.
Elton John vibe and the kind of
Hmm.
70s rock that Britain is mostly known
Hmm.
for in Europe. So why shouldn't we do a song that feels British? After all, you want that shorthand. When people think
Yeah.
of the song, they will go, that's the British one, at least.
I think for me, it's more of like I think we're stuck on that cycle of just being like we're used to being so negative, so cynical, so just like it's when okay when our song was released, I was just like looking at my timeline and people doing their my Eurovision
Mm.
scoreboards, and all of a sudden, excuse me, our flag is where? Like,
Yeah, I've seen people have this number one.
and I was like, have I heard the same song? Like, I think for me, it's more of like, okay, look, I know that. we've changed the way we've selected our entries so many times, and I think that this has been like what the second attempt with the same people, but I think it's
Yeah.
more of my concern is okay. I think we're at a stage again of like what have we got to lose? Because
Well, exactly.
I
What
feel
have we?
I feel like we've exhausted every single type of selection there is, and just nothing's sticking, and I don't know why.
But I
But
feel like we've personally tried the same kind of selection for the last 3 years. I think we've
Mhm,
ended up doing the same sorts of things. We have got in Nordic songwriters to do pop songs that
mhm,
feel commercially
mhm,
friendly, but without really having any kind of personality to them. I mean, I would say Remember Mondays had personality to it. I think the problem with that was that there were so many ideas in it
mhm.
that it never really was one kind of thing. And I think it just confused people. With this song, I know who it's coming from. I know what they're going for. And look, there will be a lot of people who don't like it. And I can tell that
Yeah,
that's not your thing. And that makes sense that it's not your thing. And I'm not even sure it's my thing, but it will be someone's thing.
yeah.
And you need that. Someone's thing
Mhm,
can mean televote points. Because if you get a small but passionate set of audience, you
mhm.
might get one here, two there, three there, and 1 point in the televote for us would be a miracle. So, so if we
I
really
was just
take our
like,
expectations down, it's good.
you know what? I still can't believe that. I feel really sad that for the past what 4 years, May Muller has had the second highest televote score, and that says a lot about like where the UK trajectory has gone since we hosted
Mm.
it. So I'm just curious to see. Okay, well you are right that there it's not what I would seek for, but I would happily entertain it. I would happily, when I hear it on the what a Euro Club or Eurofest or whatever, I would gladly sing Eins Zwei Drei like I'm in a freaking football match. Like it is a thing that I would, gladly take home because I'm like, you know, for us to have a for us to be successful, we also have to like support whoever is representing us. If they're it's kind of like it's something that trickles down, I think. So if we're, which I know that for some people they won't agree that you kind of have to be like, okay, it might not be your cup of tea, but at least you'd support it. And
Oh, yeah.
yeah, but I think the British has just become. I think we've been subjected to so much negativity. So when Sam came in, it's like, okay, fine, let's bring it. And it's kind of. I think it was just a people are starting to think that Sam's participation was just a fluke and will never do good again.
Well, it will only be a fluke if we don't get behind it in the same way. I
Mhm.
think I find it so frustrating. And this is maybe because I've now done loads of national final trips and you go around and you talk to other
Yeah.
people about Eurovision in their countries. But I find it so frustrating how defeatist we are. I'm not saying we've not got reason to be defeatist because, my God, it's not been a great couple of years for us. But you have to have hope. And I feel like sometimes we mentally beat ourselves before we even submit an entry. We just sort of think, oh, what will just do the best we can. And it's all
Hmm.
very do the best we can. Why not aim high? With
Hmm.
Sam, we I feel like we were so good then at saying, hey, I know that you probably think this is not going to work. I know that you know we're terrible at Eurovision. We had the 0-0 with James Newman, all of this. Doesn't matter. It's a new year. It's a
Yeah.
song. Get behind it. It might work.
Hmm.
It worked. Okay, the last few years haven't. There's
Hmm.
no reason why this can't work to some extent. I am not saying this is going to be a winner, or even on the left hand side, if I'm being brutally honest. But it feels like something we can get behind that is British
Hmm.
and is authentic to someone and will work for a certain crowd. That is better than we have
Yeah.
had.
I mean, do you think it would avoid bottom five at least? Because
If
yeah, because we avoided, but we just scraped. Like
Yeah,
we're
well, we
like,
got a lot of points with the juries. Topo
yeah.
Gigio announced a 12 point for us, and that was the
Oh
best
no.
12 of the day.
Oh my God, that was such an experience because I was actually in the arena then, and I was like for laughs, let's film this 12 and see what happens. And then when that mouse said United Kingdom and I just lost my cool. It was so funny.
It's, that what the hell just happened didn't do as badly as we thought. I know it got the zero in the public vote, and that's
Yeah.
really what it's remembered for, but it got 88 in the juries.
Hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if Look Mum No Computer could get 88 points overall, and I don't think it will be 88-0. It will be probably less with the juries this time.
Yeah.
But this could
Mhm.
go and get 40 televote points.
Yeah.
This could get 50 televote
Yeah.
points. It's more than okay.
I mean, I think I have more confidence going into it this time around, kind of. I mean, I mean, like as you said, we dug deep on this, on the way our entry's structured. So we've got our usual suspects that I don't think we'll ever get rid of them. So we got Killjoy, we got Thomas Stengard, but the one that surprised me is Nylan on our
Hmm.
entry, who co-wrote and produced the code. And the fact that we have oh gosh, what was his name?
Becca Reedman doing the staging.
Yeah, I was just like, you sure? Did I was I daydreaming, or when I
Yeah,
saw
I
that saw that name, I was like, I don't know if I should be nervous or I should be okay, look, for the past couple of years, so like what you had Nemo with the thing,
yes.
and then we also had, I'm guessing he did Francis last year.
He did Francis last year. He did Carias as well.
Yeah, and did Karas as well. So I was like, okay, we know that we're gonna get a memorable staging, but it's just whether or not that would translate.
He will have a concept. I think what when you
Hmm.
hire Benka Reedman, you are going to get an exciting concept. I think Benker's very, very keen on having stuff move around. A lot of movement on his stagings.
Hmm.
And look, sometimes they work. With Nemo's staging, I think Benker got that exactly right and turned that song from being a top three into a top one. But then the year after, I think it's fair to say that Benker's staging probably hurt Luan more than
Hmm.
anything because Luan should have been a top three song. And then what happened was everybody decided it looked like she had explosive diarrhea. So, it could go either way. But it will be a memorable staging, and I think
Hmm.
we just need to aim for memorable. Last year's
Yeah.
staging didn't really catch the eye too much, looked a bit
Hmm.
jumbled, didn't communicate the song's message. I don't think we're going to have that problem this time.
No, I think from because I'm thinking of last year. I do agree with you. It ended up looking a little bit like something didn't mesh very well down there. So it looked like the song itself. I think they were trying to do a lot of everything all at once.
Mm.
So I'm just hoping that that doesn't happen this year, and that I would how do I say this? I'm not like gaspingly being nervous when we get our points on May 16th, but who
Look,
knows?
there's no need to be nervous. The
Yeah,
worst we can get, we have got for the last 2 years. It cannot get worse.
let's just have not on a repeat of 2021. That's all I want.
Okay, it will not. I'll say this boldly: we are not going to get zero in the televote with this. We may only get one, but we are not going to get 0 points. This will get a top 10 somewhere at least, and I think it will get a few top tens.
Hmm. I'm gonna clip that bit, right?
Please clip it. Use it. We are not getting zero again. This will work for someone.
Yeah. Okay.
It has to get a top 10 somewhere.
I will find you. I will find you after the grand final. We're in the press center, and we're just gonna be like, James.
And I'm going to be like, "Told you so." Is what's happened, and I'm gonna celebrate those. I don't know, 6 points, um, phenomenally. Look,
Yeah.
no, I don't think it'll get
Mm.
six. It'll
Yeah.
be double digits
Yeah.
somewhere.
Mm. Okay. I'm gonna leave this on a last note because I think you know how we always beat ourselves up when it comes to us going into this.
The most
Like,
cynical nation in the world.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, I know it's so terrible, but like, do you think we're doing enough, or do you think like, because I know how we said we've exhausted every single type of selection there is in the world. do you think we're still on the right track with an internal selection, or do you think it's time to,
And go
change it up again?
national.
See, the thing is, UK has a bit of a reputation internationally, just like always picking the wrong thing. Not to name a few things, but you know what I mean.
Hmm.
Or whoever's watching this can understand that. But do you think that we're doing fine as is in terms of selection, or do you think we should, you know,
I
try
think
and
I think we're selecting with ideas in mind now. I understand why we selected Remember Monday last year. That was very much the UK delegation going, okay, if we can't really get points in the televote and that's our problem, let's just focus on getting jury points.
Mhm,
So let's select three really, really good singers who you know are going to deliver vocally and the juries will appreciate because vocal capacity is in the jury criteria. So the logic of picking that song was right. I think the logic this time, they've gone in reverse and gone, well, I think we can get a good televote if we select a song that is different, that
mhm,
stands out in its lane. It does not sound like anything else in this lineup,
mhm.
that you can pin to the country that's sending it because it sounds British, and you can pin to the artist doing it because it's definitely Sam's. And you know what? I don't think the UK is aiming to win with this, and they would probably tell you this in private. Um, we are going to
I
do
think that's a
fine.
known thing. I think that's a consensus that we're not gonna win this.
No, we are not winning Eurovision unless Sam Ryder is brought back or I don't know Loren changes her passport. Um, but this will be more than okay, and for us, anything more than 0 points in the public vote is a success,
Mhm,
and we should get behind it. And when it does that, we should enjoy it and clap and support Sam for doing this,
mhm.
so that people don't feel like when they get asked, "Do you want to do Eurovision?" they go, "Oh, why the hell would I do that?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm that's gonna be one of my wrapping points is that, if you're a Brit, support it when you can. We're not gonna win, but just at least, just try not to be a douchebag about it. Because I
Let's
think,
just see how well we can do.
yeah. Mm. But on that final note, what I would ask you is, on where do you think we'll end up? I know we've asked this, but like now that we've had a proper discussion about it, where do
Mm.
you think we'll end up?
Upper right hand side. If you want me to put a number on it, 16th. Maybe that's a little hopeful, but I'll say
That's a
16th.
little, I'd think about 17th, which is better than the last two.
If that gets 16th, we can be honestly quite pleased with that. I don't think
Yeah.
that would we would not ever be doing ourselves a shame by coming in 16th
Mhm.
place at Eurovision.
Yeah.
That's okay.
And as a Brit, I am just thankful we're at the big four and we're not doing the semifinals because I know how that would end up.
Would this make it out of a semi-final?
No,
I think. Do you not think? I think it would
no.
be in there. I think it would
I
stand a chance actually
I am so
if it was
cynical.
in one.
Yeah, no, I don't think I think if we do, we'd end up 11th. That's
Maybe we would.
that's how I would see it. We'd end up 11th.
That'd be
No,
painful, wouldn't it?
but I really hate saying that, but I hope that, moving forward, that I can be more positive about it, which I am. I do support our entries, but just looking at it, taking out my Eurofan brain and looking at it from a local's perspective, that's my main concern. But yeah,
It'll work for someone.
it
It'll get
will.
some points. We'll do okay.
Yes, and I will be voting online, and hopefully that, we do get a. Or actually, no, I'll get an Austrian SIM card.
Well, the Austrian vote's going to look incredible for us
Yeah.
then.
All right, then. Well, anyways, that's our thoughts on the UK's entry. Lick Mom No Computer with Eins Zwei Drei. What do you guys think of the UK's entry? Let us know in the comments. And if you liked our discussion, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, push the notification bell, and all that kind of jazz, and follow us at That Year Site for everything and thatyearvisionsite.com for all the latest news. James, where can we follow you?
At James Makes Stuff on X for the personal stuff, ESC Insight for everything I make, including Eurovision Uncovered and the model. which is running again and is successfully pissing off half the world. Uh,
I know. I saw the recent one, and I am so annoyed that I'm gonna make sure that you couldn't get another one out of your system.
we made changes. It's fine. It's just a poll. But yes, that's if you want to see everything I make, go over to ESC
Mm,
Insight or find me on X and Instagram and all those other
mm.
places.
All right then. Well, thanks for joining us, James, and thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Goodbye.